Primal Sky Mountain, 10,000 kilometers tall, majestic and mysterious. It was the tallest mountain in this space specially created by the virtual universe. A beam of light stopped at the foot of the mountain. It was LuoFeng with the dark golden long rod on his back. Ah! LuoFeng looked ahead. In the distance at the foot of the mountain lay a tall and sturdy bull man with a long bull horn. Beside this bull man was a terrifying huge axe, snoring like thunder, saliva dripping from the corner of his mouth, following the bull hair on his face, forming a line that dripped onto the dark black rock beside. That bull man seemed to sense something, opening his eyes suspiciously. Looking at LuoFeng, he immediately stood up and laughed. "You're here to attempt the Primal Sky Mountain?" "Yes." LuoFeng nodded. "Haha, there's finally someone to play with me." The bull man laughed, simultaneously raising his head and roaring. His voice rumbled and resounded. So, from the other two directions at the foot of the primitive sky-piercing mountain, a human figure flew over. The one on the left was a skinny ape man with golden fur and silver armor. He carried a black bamboo pole on his back. And the one on the right was a demon woman dressed in a translucent robe, with a snake tail and human body. Bull man, ape man, snake man? LuoFeng frowned. The ape man belonged to a large branch of the human race in the universe. The ape man could still be split into many races. In comparison, the bull man's power was weaker than the ape man, and the snake man's numbers were even smaller. Their rarity was only relative. The Nagas were still a common branch of the human race. Hee, finally someone has come to attempt the Primal Sky Mountain. The skinny ape man crooked his body and laughed oddly. "Let me see where he came from." As the seductive snake lady spoke, her terrifying long tongue would occasionally stick out, following which her watery fox-like eyes glanced at LuoFeng. "So it's your Majesty LuoFeng from the absolute beginning region. A newbie dares to challenge Tong Tian Mountain. ***** person, don't scare him away." The bull man roared, after which he looked at LuoFeng. "Your Majesty LuoFeng, the rules to attempt the Sky Mountain are very simple. You only need to kill from the foot to the peak, killing the guards at the foot, waist and peak. You're considered to have successfully cleared the Heavenspan Mountain. The three of us are the guardians of the foot of the mountain." LuoFeng nodded. "From the foot of the mountain to the peak? Are you going to try or not?" The Minotaur roared. "Charge." LuoFeng nodded. "Ha, white-skinned ape, let's go." The Minotaur excitedly howled and immediately grabbed the terrifying gigantic axe. With just one step, the entire ground violently shook. In an instant he rushed in front of LuoFeng. At the same time, the terrifying gigantic axe was already raised and instantly transformed into a dirt yellow axe blade. Chi-chi. Wherever the blade of the axe passed, cracks would appear in the space. Hee. The skinny ape man laughed strangely. He stood on the rock and the black bamboo pole behind him flew out. At the same time, the entire black bamboo pole seemed to instantly elongate. The entire bamboo pole had a total of 9 sections, and each section fell off in an instant with countless threads connecting it. It formed a weapon that looked like a 9-segmented whip. This was the third-level spirit weapon, Arc Snake. Whoosh. This blurry silhouette immediately dashed out, fast as lightning. Even though it moved later, it actually reached before the Minotaur's huge axe reached LuoFeng. Just like a venomous snake biting at LuoFeng. Umph. The snake lady snorted, her eyes gleaming with a purple light. Formless spirit energy immediately attacked LuoFeng. In an instant, the Minotaur, skinny ape man and snake lady attacked simultaneously. In terms of speed, naturally the spirit energy was the fastest. It immediately permeated into LuoFeng's consciousness. Within his consciousness, a vast void pagoda sat within his consciousness. The entire pagoda was even more exquisite, glowing with gold. It had 3 levels of structure. His comprehension of the origin laws had allowed LuoFeng's void pagoda to reach the 3rd-level pagoda. Actually, not long after leaving Primal Chaos City, LuoFeng had finally reached the 3rd-level pagoda. After 80 years, to form the 4th-level pagoda, it was obviously still not enough. Rumble. The spirit energy smashed into the void pagoda. It slightly shook, however it wasn't damaged at all. "Just this and you want to injure me?" LuoFeng stood on the dark cloud shuttle, his eyes filled with killing intent. "Go and die." Rumble. The dark golden staff behind him instantly shot out countless rays of golden light in all directions. The densely packed dark golden sword shot out countless golden threads, directly connecting to the origin of space and the origin of metal. Under the ingenious combination of the 2 origin laws through the Nan Shen Armament, the surrounding towering peaks instantly disappeared without a trace. In the vast space, blade energy revolved. Nan Shen Armament 6th level. Blade World. Dang. A thread of blade energy immediately clashed with the arc snake that had become a black light, causing it to immediately fly backwards. In the distance, the skinny ape man with a crooked back immediately went pale. Simultaneously his expression changed greatly. Nan Shen Armament's Blade World. Simultaneously he communicated, "Ape Man, attack his soul, make his consciousness scatter and cause the Blade World to collapse." "I don't need you to tell me." The snake lady's expression was cold. Formless spirit energy once again attacked LuoFeng. Dang. The condensed blade energy, after knocking the arc snake back, it smashed into the Minotaur's huge axe. The Minotaur felt the strong force pass through the huge axe, his entire body trembled and he couldn't help but fly backwards, spitting out a mouthful of fresh blood. At the same time, the snake lady's spirit energy also made contact with the void pagoda in LuoFeng's consciousness. "Go and die." LuoFeng stared at the Minotaur. Shio. That condensed blade energy followed closely. With a flash, it pierced through the Minotaur's forehead, piercing a hole, and his body fell. The Minotaur dead. The skinny Ape Man and Snake Lady both stopped their attacks. Your Majesty LuoFeng, you actually defeated the bull just like that. You've passed the mountain foot level. The skinny Ape Man curled his lips and said, "Congratulations." The Snake Lady said, "What a powerful illusion, however it's far from enough to fool me. Break." LuoFeng's heart was cold like a mirror. Seeing through all the illusions, his consciousness was like a blade, becoming a heavenly blade that slashed fiercely at the surrounding scenery. Immediately the illusion collapsed and everything vanished. As the illusion vanished, LuoFeng's expression changed. A black stream of light had already arrived in front of him. The Minotaur with blood on the corner of his mouth also roared and rushed over. In the distance, the Lamia revealed a look of surprise. He actually broke through my illusion so quickly. This illusion is terrifying. LuoFeng was shocked within. When he heavily injured the Minotaur earlier, he was already under the illusion. The so-called killing of the Minotaur was just an illusion, it was fake. The Snake Lady's illusion has already reached such a level. The Minotaur and Ape Man are definitely not to be messed with. They clashed head-on with my blade world earlier. They were only injured but not dead. Many thoughts flashed through LuoFeng's mind. Simultaneously a blood shadow blade and a hexagonal shield appeared in his hands. The resplendent light flashed. Illusionary 7 blades. Dutchman's pipe. Dang. The black light was sliced apart. Die. Within the vast blade world, immediately a thread of blade energy shot straight at the distant Snake Lady. Her expression changed greatly, roaring, "You two are still helping to block it." Simultaneously a black shield appeared before her. Around it was a snake engraving. As a hypnotist in terms of controlling spirit weapons, they were much weaker than the controller. Ah! The Minotaur roared and rushed over. However, a fighter's speed was far from the blade energy and spirit weapon's speed. Go and die. The Ape Man controlled the black arc to attack LuoFeng. Dang. Relying on the shield and blade, even though he was at a disadvantage, he was still able to withstand the attack. LuoFeng's eyes were cold as he resisted. As he relied on the blade and shield to block the Ape Man's spirit weapon. Hence, LuoFeng used all his strength to deal with the Snake Lady. A thread of condensed blade energy madly surrounded and attacked the Snake Lady. In an instant, he attacked over 10 times. Chi. The Snake Lady's spirit weapon control was obviously not as good as her illusion skills. Finally the blade energy pierced through her head. I can't hold on much longer. LuoFeng's expression changed. As he was distracted with his blade, maintaining the blade world was getting more and more taxing. Ah! The Minotaur roared angrily and had already reached before LuoFeng. Shio. The black light was as fast as lightning, once again reaching before LuoFeng. Dang. LuoFeng immediately condensed blade energy to block the black light. The vast blade world collapsed, revealing the many little golden blades that immediately reassembled. Half of the golden blades immediately became a dark golden long blade that immediately shot towards the Minotaur that rushed before LuoFeng. It was the Nan Shen Armament's 5th level. Space Slicer. Go and die. LuoFeng's blood shadow blade immediately unleashed the illusionary 7 blades, Burial. The blade's light was vicious, filled with endless killing intent. Ah! The Minotaur roared and swung his axe down. The dark golden long blade immediately clashed with the huge axe, causing it to immediately explode apart, becoming over 2,000 little golden blades. And the Minotaur's huge axe was deflected to the side, and LuoFeng's blood shadow blade slashed down. The Minotaur was split in half from head to toe. Block it. As LuoFeng hacked the Minotaur to death, he controlled the hexagonal shield to block the arc snake black light behind him. Rumble. The moment the black light clashed with the hexagonal shield, the entire 9-segment whip-like black light actually swung its tail, as fast as lightning, passing through LuoFeng's head. Red and white flew. LuoFeng was dead. Damn, he actually killed 2 of us. The skinny Ape Man let out a long sigh of relief. He couldn't help but be shocked. Beside, the Minotaur and Snake Lady revived once again. The Snake Lady watched as LuoFeng's body vanished, shocked. My hypnosis combined with my talent actually didn't affect him at all. He's just a newbie and he actually killed 2 of the 3 of us? The Minotaur stared. Yuxiang Mountain Absolute Beginning Region. LuoFeng sat in his study. I actually couldn't even pass the foot level. LuoFeng shook his head. Ichim, at the crucial moment the blade world can't be maintained for long enough. Just maintaining the blade world alone, I can maintain it for 30 seconds. However, using the blood shadow blade shield while maintaining the blade world, the duration has obviously shortened by a lot. My comprehension still isn't enough. LuoFeng recalled the battle before, reflecting on his failures. After a while. LuoFeng, your teacher True Yin Emperor has requested a call. The fist-sized demon Babata on his shoulder shouted. Teacher? LuoFeng stood up, his demeanor humble, simultaneously opening the screen. A pavilion built on a huge reef appeared on the screen. True Yin was sitting under the pavilion holding a cup of wine. Far behind True Yin was a majestic and dazzling palace. There were 2 large golden words on the palace. True Yin. That should be Teacher's Shrine on Thunder Island. LuoFeng thought. LuoFeng. On the screen True Yin smiled and shouted. Teacher. LuoFeng bowed respectfully. You've received the mail from the Virtual Universe Company, right? True Yin said, his eyes filled with a teasing glint. Do you really want to make it into the Primal Region? LuoFeng nodded, after which he shook his head helplessly. Teacher, I've read the mail and found out to rise to the Primal Region, there's the qualification battles and the Sky Mountain. I've just tried the Primal Sky Mountain. Chi. Tru Yen spat out the wine in his mouth, the golden fur was all smiles. You said you tried the Primal Sky Mountain? LuoFeng nodded. You failed? It'll be weird if I didn't fail. Tru Yen couldn't help but laugh and scold. Looks like you don't know anything about the Sky Mountain. I just read the mail and found out about it. LuoFeng said. Tru Yen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. There are 3 Sky Mountains, the core members can challenge them anytime. As long as they pass, they can immediately enter the higher regions. It sounds nice. However, do you think the difficulty is a joke? Your genius competition 7 towers, do you still remember? LuoFeng nodded. He had died in the first level of the 6th tower, Bolan however had made it to the first level of the 7th tower. One theory. The 7 tower standard is that there's almost no hope of passing. Tru Yen said, this Sky Mountain is the same. The difficulty is extremely high, you want to pass it and enter the Primal Region? Let me put it this way, even if all the universe level members of the Primal Region tried, none of them would be able to pass it. LuoFeng was shocked. Not a single member of the primitive mystic realm could pass the primitive Heavenspan Mountain? Do you understand? If you can clear the primordial Heavenspan Mountain, that means that you're stronger than primordial mystic realm members at the same level. Of course, it will directly raise you to the primitive mystic realm. Tru Yen said, as for how difficult it is, you've tried it yourself. Which level did you fail at? The foot of the mountain? Mountainside? The top of the mountain? At the foot of the mountain, LuoFeng was a bit ashamed. I killed 2 but failed. It's not bad to be able to kill 2 of them. How long have you been nurtured by the virtual company? Tru Yen said, as for the difficulty of the primitive Heavenspan Mountain, there are 3 guardians at the foot of the mountain, the mountainside, and the mountaintop. The gatekeepers are fighters, spirit reader controllers, and illusionists. 3 against 1. Even if the 3 of them are slightly weaker than you, when the 3 of them work together they can complement each other. Tru Yen said, the guardian on the mountainside is 10 times stronger than the guardian at the foot of the mountain. There are 10 times more guardians on the mountaintop than on the mountainside. LuoFeng stared, how can that be? Doesn't that mean that the guardian at the top of the mountain is 100 times stronger than the guardian at the bottom? Right, 100 times. Tru Yen nodded. When I unleash the Blade World I can maintain it for 30 seconds. To be able to unleash the Blade World at Universe Level 9, in the vast universe, it should be considered the pinnacle? LuoFeng was clear of his own position. Tru Yen nodded, it's considered the pinnacle. I'm still lacking when I pass the foot of the mountain, the guardian at the mountaintop is 100 times stronger than the foot? LuoFeng couldn't help but say, how can a Universe Level 9 pass? It was unimaginable. In the Universe Level 9, there were still people that were 100 times stronger than him. He could unleash the Blade World. And his willpower and consciousness could resist the illusions. Right, how can I pass? Tru Yen laughed too. Hence, even the universe level members of the Primal Region have no way of passing. The primitive Heavenspan Mountain is just a benchmark. It's placed there for others to look up to make them feel like they have a goal, to not be arrogant at all times. Tru Yen said, hence to rise to the Primal Region, the qualification battles are the true way. Teacher? LuoFeng's heart moved. On the screen Tru Yen looked at LuoFeng. Has anyone passed the Primal Heavenspan Mountain? LuoFeng asked. Yes, of course, and there's quite a few. Tru Yen smiled and nodded. The universe is vast, the number of humans is uncountable, those with heavenly luck and special encounters, their personalities are resilient, their comprehension is extremely high, their backgrounds are extremely good. What's there not to have? In the long history, how many geniuses have there been? You and Bolan are only geniuses that appear once in 10,000 years. And how long has the primal universe been around? In the endless years, there have been geniuses that are 10 times, 100 times stronger than you and Bolan, there have been. Tru Yen shook his head. The chances of geniuses becoming absolute warriors are extremely high, however there are still large groups of geniuses that fall. The ones that were from the same era as me, of course earlier than me by tens of thousands of years, there was one called Kadi, known as the number 1 genius of over 100 million eras. Universe level, domain lord, sector lord, these 3 periods he passed the primal Heavenspan Mountain, his encounters were miraculous, incredibly heavenly, and in the alien battlefield he made the other races tremble. As a sector lord, he was able to kill an official level undying. A group of universe country leaders and knights fought to take him as a disciple. Finally the primal chaos city leader took him as a disciple. LuoFeng was dumbfounded. Even the primal Heavenspan Mountain became a joke? A sector lord killing an official level undying? A group of universe country leaders and knights fighting to take him as a disciple? It was madness. And in the end? Tru Yen shook his head. In a universe secret region he immediately fell. When he died he was a sector lord pinnacle. LuoFeng blinked. To say someone is a genius in a galaxy, he is indeed the number 1 genius. However, in a starfield? In a universe country? In the entire human race? Tru Yen smiled. Even if you are the number 1 genius of the human race, that's only for a certain period of time. 10,000 years, 10,000 eras, up to 100 million eras, the entire history of humanity? Who do you think you are? LuoFeng couldn't help but nod. One should be confident but not arrogant. Tru Yen shook his head, that Bolan was too arrogant. What he didn't know was, that group of universe country leaders didn't even think much of him. His long lifespan allowed the universe country leaders to see many geniuses comparable to Bolan. I understand. I will work hard, others can pass the Primal Heavenspan Mountain. I will work hard too. LuoFeng said. On the screen Tru Yen was stunned, after which he nodded. This time I found you, is to remind you of some matters regarding the qualification battles. Tru Yen said, the qualification battles will first be your Absolute Beginning Region's internal battles. The Absolute Beginning Region has a total of 38 universe-level members, the original 30, along with you 8 newbies. The 38 battle will decide the strongest 3. Only the strongest 3 have the right to fight with the people from the primitive secret realm. Of course there are very few who succeed. Tru Yen said, what I'm about to talk about now, is your Absolute Beginning Region's 38 internal battles. You, Rongjun and the other 8 are all newbies. And the Absolute Beginning Universe-level seniors have been nurtured by the Virtual Universe Company for at least 1,000 years, some even thousands. Tru Yen said, right now amongst these 30 seniors, there are 5 on the Heavenly Bridge level 7, 25 on the 6. LuoFeng stared. This 30 seniors, 5 of them on the Heavenly Bridge level 7? The rest were all on the Heavenly Bridge level 6? Don't be surprised if Wuka and the rest train for another 1,000 years, they will all at least reach the Heavenly Bridge level 6. Tru Yen said, time, this is the power of time. Your talents may be high but they have trained longer. Why haven't they broken through to Domain Lord after so long? LuoFeng couldn't help but ask. It was too much of a bully. The newbies were being trampled on, out of the 30 seniors, 5 actually passed the Heavenly Bridge level 7. Bottleneck to these geniuses, they can definitely pass it in 1,000 years. Tru Yen poured a glass of wine and drank it in one gulp, he said while pouring, however at the universe level one can take on missions to earn points. And with a stronger foundation, one's future accomplishments will naturally be higher. Since one's lifespan is long, what's a few thousand years in the universe level? Nobody is stupid, they all take the chance to earn points. And because of this, every 100 years they can at most take on 10 missions. Moreover, there is a limit to the number of times you can accept the safe, normal, difficult, dangerous and impossible level cultivation missions for each level. Tru Yen said. That's right. This is too much of a bully. LuoFeng couldn't help but say. They too are newbies. Tru Yen said on the screen, you're still fine, staying in the Absolute Beginning Region is no problem. However Wuka and the rest from the Menka planet, they'll probably be eliminated from the Sky and Land region. LuoFeng was silent. Your biggest opponents are those 5, the 5 that passed the Heavenly Bridge level 7. Tru Yen said. 5. The 5 warriors of the 30 seniors? LuoFeng frowned. 5 warriors. Those 5 had at least Wuka level 1 talent, they had trained for a long time, they had definitely taken on many missions, they were definitely very experienced. Work hard. Your opponents are them. Tru Yen said, this is your first qualification battle, making it into the Primal Region isn't very likely. My request for you is, to make it into the top 3 of the Absolute Beginning Region. After the call ended, LuoFeng sat in the study for a while. My earlier plan was to make it into the Primal Region this time. The seniors in the Absolute Beginning Region are actually that strong? Teacher wants me to make it into the top 3? LuoFeng thought, a soldier that doesn't want to be a general isn't a good soldier. If I don't even dare think about entering the Primal Region, I'd be too useless. This time. I have to make it into the Primal Region. 6 years, there's still 6 years. LuoFeng thought. As for the next 6 years, he had already given up on his original plan. The new plan, LuoFeng already had some vague ideas. My biggest advantage. I'll use my biggest advantage to maximize my strength. What was LuoFeng's greatest advantage right now? Right claw infused with 97 blood river crystals of the golden horned beast, the beast god statue, the 3 ancient pictures tearing sky and land, these 4 combinations. Before going to Blood River World, LuoFeng's greatest advantage was the Masha Clansman, the 9 universe tablet and time-space scribbles. The Masha Clansman used it to study the space laws, of course it was fast. Previously, it had caused LuoFeng's gold origin laws comprehension to lag behind his space origin laws. But now it was different. The golden horned beast was originally the darling of the universe gold laws. Through its right claw, when it unleashed the first claw, its compatibility with the universe laws increased by close to 10 times. Even though the golden horned beast itself was sick, with a high starting point, after 10 times, its compatibility with the space laws wasn't any weaker than the Masha Clansman. With this comprehension and compatibility training tearing sky and land, how shocking would that be? This technique was after all created by the golden horned beast's ancestors. It was very suitable for the golden horned beast to train. The beast god statue and the 3 ancient pictures were all very profound, however they didn't have a detailed training process. And tearing sky and land had a detailed training process. Comparing them, the golden horned beast's improvement speed was shocking just from studying the first claw of tearing sky and land. Especially in the past few months since he acquired the beast god statue, his improvement speed made LuoFeng speechless. In terms of training, my greatest advantage is the first claw. In terms of battle, my true advantage is that I'm both a spirit reader and fighter. LuoFeng very quickly sorted out his thoughts. The Masha clansman originally wanted to train the illusionary techniques, then, along with the golden horned beast, I'll focus on burial of the illusionary 7 blades. Burial in the first claw. In terms of origin law usage they were relatively close. This was why burial was the Masha clansman's strongest blade. I'll fight in close combat with my opponent while simultaneously controlling my spirit weapon. Before when I passed through Sky Mountain, I relied on this move to kill those two. LuoFeng thought. In terms of close combat ability, LuoFeng could rely on his blade to block the Bull Man and the Ape Man spirit weapon. He was only at a slight disadvantage, and when he used the 5th level of the Nan Shen Armament, the spatial laceration, it was directly shattered by the Minotaur's axe. Only the 6th level, Independent World, had the ability to suppress the opponent. My close combat strength is weaker than my spirit weapons, but it's not too far off. Recently I've been focusing on burial, and with the help of Tearing Sky Claw, my improvement will definitely be very fast. LuoFeng laughed. He had unleashed the Nan Shen Armament and was evenly matched with his opponent. At the crucial moment he wielded the Blood Shadow Blade in close combat. This was like 2 against 1. Just how strong was LuoFeng's close combat ability? No one really knew. Even Tru Yen was still stuck at the blade technique he used back in Primal Chaos City, when LuoFeng passed the Heavenly Bridge. At that time his close combat strength compared to the spirit weapon was much weaker. Time passed quickly. The pinnacle of humanity's universe-level geniuses were all preparing for the upcoming qualification battles. LuoFeng didn't dare relax at all. The Golden Horned Beast and Masha clansmen respectively studied the First Claw, Burial, Time-Space Scribbles, the 9 Universe Tablet, the memories of the 9 Black Fire Planets etc. etc. Everything was mutually corroborating, accumulating any doubts he had to ask his teacher Tru Yen Emperor at one go. LuoFeng, how did he improve so quickly? LuoFeng, are you sure you can unleash this page of the Time-Space Scribbles, this technique? Why don't you show me first? Tru Yen watched LuoFeng succeed and couldn't help but stare. Madness, how is his improvement speed so much faster than in Blood River World? Tru Yen was shocked. LuoFeng didn't dare relax at all. Half a year after returning from Blood River World. Virtual Universe, Heavenly Bridge Space. In the center of the beautiful island, the Black Star-robed watchman Bevan was shocked as he looked at LuoFeng who appeared out of thin air. LuoFeng, ever since you passed the 6th level the last time, you haven't been able to do anything. You haven't been here for so many years, right? Yes. LuoFeng smiled and nodded. Past the 7th level? Bevan smiled. LuoFeng nodded. You look very confident. Bevan smiled and pointed into the distance. There's no one on the 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge right now. I wish you luck in passing the 7th level. If you do, you'll truly be ahead of Bolan. I believe I can succeed. LuoFeng smiled and became a beam of light rushing towards the distant 9 Universe Heavenly Bridge, following which he swiftly flew up level by level. The 7th level was in the endless space. The bridge extended directly into space, and at the end of the 7th level floated a small meteorite with a diameter of a few kilometers. LuoFeng, dressed in a dark red armor, stood on the bridge, looking at the floating meteorite. Choose your opponent, fighter, controller, hypnotist, pick one and defeat him to pass the 7th level. A hoarse voice resounded from within the meteorite. Controller. LuoFeng said. Bah. A piece of rock broke off from the edge of the meteorite and landed on the bridge. As it rolled on the bridge, it transformed into a controller wearing a blue battle suit and a silver mask. He rode on a dark cloud shuttle and carried a dark golden staff on his back. Universe Level 9 Youth, it's been a long time since I've seen you. The blue armored man's voice was old. I wouldn't have come if I wasn't confident. LuoFeng said. Very good. The blue armored man stood on the dark cloud shuttle and roared, let me see just how much you've improved to actually be so confident. Rumble. The dark golden long rod on his back immediately shot out tens of thousands of gold lights. In an instant, countless little golden blades shot out in all directions. Immediately the surrounding land and skies began to change. And standing in the distance on his dark cloud shuttle, LuoFeng's dark golden long rod too shot out tens of thousands of gold lights. The two did the same thing. The land and skies around them began to change too. In this vast world, only blade energy revolved. This was the blade world. The blue-clothed man's blade world clashed with LuoFeng's blade world. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The two worlds clashed, countless blade energy clashed. Your improvement is shocking. However, your control of the blade world is still weaker than mine. The blue-armored man pointed at LuoFeng. Go. Shio. A thread of golden blade energy condensed before the blue-armored man and shot straight at LuoFeng. My control of the blade world is weaker? LuoFeng was very confident within. Actually, 2 months ago, he'd already been able to form a stable blade world. The reason why he dragged it out for 2 months was because he wanted to completely control the blade world. Even when he was multitasking, he could still maintain the stability of the blade world. The reason his control was weaker was because he was multitasking, only a portion of his consciousness was controlling the Nan Shen Armament. Let's see how it goes. Then I'll use all my strength to control the Nan Shen Armament now. If I can win without close combat, then there's no need for it. LuoFeng's eyes gleamed. The entire blade world around him rumbled, almost like it was getting stronger. It immediately pressed against the other blade world, simultaneously pointing over, go. A thread of golden blade energy shot straight at the distant blue-armored man. The two threads of condensed blade world energy formed an incredibly sharp blade energy that clashed against each other and were destroyed. The further it was from the body, the weaker the control of the blade world was. Hence, he always condensed the blade energy in front of him. That way its power was the strongest. Chi. The two threads of golden blade energy clashed again and were destroyed. Blue Armored Man, you've lost for sure. After trying 2 attacks, LuoFeng didn't hold back anymore. He roared coldly and pointed at the distant Blue Armored Man. A thread of golden blade energy shot at the Blue Armored Man. It's no use. Go back and train. Your strength is similar to mine. Train for another 3 years and you might be able to suppress me. Train for another 10 years before you can defeat me. The Blue Armored Man controlled another thread of golden blade energy to block LuoFeng's attack. LuoFeng looked coldly at the Blue Armored Man. Oh. The thread of golden blade energy LuoFeng controlled actually dodged in midair. It didn't even block the Blue Armored Man's blade energy attack. As it dodged, it continued to shoot at the Blue Armored Man. What? The Blue Armored Man's expression changed. Then let's risk it all and die together. The two controllers clashed. Especially with the Blade World, the two could only condense one thread of blade energy with their full strength. It was like two people wielding two blades. If you want to slash me, I'll naturally use my blade to block. This would result in a clash. If one of them was strong enough while blocking the other, he would kill the other. Then it would be considered a success. And LuoFeng's current actions, when the opponent slashed at him, he didn't block at all. He immediately slashed at the opponent's neck. This was the actions of a death warrior. This was called mutual destruction. Shio. LuoFeng controlled the golden blade energy to immediately reach before the Blue Armored Man. The blade energy speed was much faster than the Dark Cloud Shuttle. Shio. The golden blade energy also reached before LuoFeng. The two met with danger simultaneously. However, their methods were completely different. A shield appeared before the Blue Armored Man and he used spirit energy to block. Break. LuoFeng held a shield in one hand and a blood shadow blade in the other. With a roar, the blood shadow blade in his hand immediately caused the surrounding space pressure. Even with the blade world energy around him, this blade was filled with ferocity and was shockingly fast. The edge of the blade glowed with a gold light and immediately slashed at the golden blade energy. LuoFeng's entire body felt the recoil and he couldn't help but retreat 10 m. The energy within him boiled, however the golden blade energy had already been sliced apart. Chi. And on the Blue Armored Man's side, LuoFeng controlled the golden blade energy to be as fast as lightning. The shield's movement speed couldn't keep up with the blade energy at all. It brushed past him twice and the third time it pierced through his head. The Blue Armored Man's body fell. LuoFeng looked at the Blue Armored Man's body and said softly, "You have a blade world, so do I. And my blade and the Nan Shen Armament aren't too far apart. Heavenly Bridge's 7th level, passed. Bolan, I'm ahead." LuoFeng revealed a smile and rushed into the sky towards the 8th level. At the end of the 8th level of the Heavenly Bridge, LuoFeng looked at the floating meteorite before him. Even though the Heavenly Bridge only has 3 levels and 1 checkpoint, the further it goes, the harder it gets. Like the 19th, 20th and 21st levels, after passing the 21st level, one would become a knight, universe country leader level eternal being. The 20th to 21st levels are incomparably difficult. The 7th to 8th levels might not be as difficult as the 6th to the 7th. However, it would definitely be much harder than the 5th to 6th. To be able to attempt the 8th level at universe level 9, you are very outstanding. Right now among the universe level members of the Virtual Universe Company, only one has ever successfully passed the 8th level. The Blue Armored Man stood on the Dark Cloud Shuttle, his eyes beneath the mask gleaming with a smile. "Receive my attack." Rumble. The Blue Armored Man's dark golden long rod immediately shot out tens of thousands of gold lights. LuoFeng too simultaneously unleashed the Nan Shen Armament, countless little golden blades shot in all directions, immediately drawing upon the space and gold origin laws. The sky and land changed color. In an instant both sides were surrounded by a vast blade energy space. It was still the 6th level. Own world. Rumble. The Blue Armored Man controlled his blade world and fiercely smashed over. Immediately the skies and land cracked. The blade world actually began to crumble, and the Blue Armored Man's blade world swiftly expanded. Not good. LuoFeng's expression changed. So. He immediately became a beam of light, wielding the blood shadow blade and rushing at the Blue Armored Man. Chi. Right before LuoFeng's eyes, a pale golden blade energy formed and pierced through his head. LuoFeng died. The 8th level failed. I actually lost just like that. LuoFeng sat in his study still shocked. According to the information I've read, this should be the Blade World's omnipresence level. The Nan Shen Armament's 6th level Blade World, this was extremely terrifying. Just like the 1st level Illusion Blade, it was split into 1, 2 all the way to 9 blades. The logic was the same. The Blade World had its differences too. LuoFeng was only at the initial level of control. He could condense a thread of blade energy, and it had to be close to him. Because the further the distance, the weaker his control. LuoFeng had no way of condensing blade energy as he wished. However, the opponent on the 8th level could do it easily. He immediately condensed a thread of blade energy in front of LuoFeng, immediately killing him. This required one to reach the level of being able to control the world of swords as they pleased. Only then would they be able to make sword chi omnipresent. There's nothing to say about my defeat. The sword energy can be everywhere. I can't even defend against it. Even though he successfully passed the 7th level, LuoFeng wasn't arrogant at all. He continued to concentrate on his training. Virtual Universe Heavenly Bridge Plane. Watchman Bevan's eyes widened as he muttered, there are billions of races in the universe and I've seen enough geniuses. But this Luo Feng actually surpassed Bolan. Bolan's talent had shocked countless people in the past. Interesting, this is really interesting. After which, Bevan sent the news of Luo Feng passing the 7th level to those related to him. Also, the absolute beginning and Primal Region universe level members, he sent it to all of them. Yuxiang Mountain Primal Area Long Yun's training grounds. In the vast and boundless training field. Long Yun knelt on the ground and punched the alloy floor again and again. Boom. The ground shook. However, Long Yun's expression was solemn as he punched the alloy floor again and again, creating many craters. I said before I would proudly return to the Lan Ting universe country. I said before I would become an absolute warrior of the universe. I said before I would always improve and remain in the Primal Region. Long Yun gritted his teeth, his eyes bloodshot. Why was Luo Feng so close to me back then? However, now I've only passed the 5th level and he's already passed the 7th? I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Long Yun gritted his teeth. Calm, I have to calm down. Long Yun closed his eyes and muttered softly, yes, one step at a time. I can't let Luo Feng affect my state of mind. If my state of mind is chaotic, I'm destined to fail. I have to be calm. Long Yun was a very low-profile person. No one dared to look down on him. He was silent. He was a lone wolf. His talent in Luo Feng's genius competition may only be ranked 20th or 30th, however his improvement speed was no less than Wuka's. Similarly in the Primal Region within Bolan's villa. Bolan was wielding a blood blade, casually waving it around. Suddenly he frowned and gently tapped in mid-air. A screen appeared and on it he opened a mail. Luo Feng successfully passed the 7th level of the Heavenly Bridge. Bolan read out softly, after which he stood motionless. The blood blade in his hand actually fell to the ground. The sound of it clashing caused Bolan to wake up abruptly. He passed? Surpassed me? Bolan didn't even care about the blood swords on the ground as he silently walked to his residence. After entering the quiet room, he sat down cross-legged and stared at a framed photo in the quiet room. A photo of an old man teaching a young man how to practice swordsmanship. Quietly sitting. Not making a sound. The absolute beginning region had a very crowded place. The arena. The duel arena was an open arena within the absolute beginning region. There would often be geniuses fighting each other there, even placing bets. Of course, it was mostly the two sides who placed bets. After all, the death in the virtual universe was fake, and others didn't dare place bets casually. Your Majesty, I think you should give up. Your Majesty Wuka, you've already lost 8 matches today. If you keep fighting, you'll still lose. The group of universe-level absolute beginning members watching from the side of the arena were all laughing and joking. In the arena, Wuka laid in the corner, his head was full of fresh blood. He lay there panting heavily. All of you shut up. With a loud roar, Wuka, who had been lying on the ground, suddenly stood up. His face was stained with blood as he glared at the crowd below the stage. I'm not dead yet. After which, he stared at the silver-scaled youth standing in the distance. The silver-scaled youth coldly snorted and said, Your Highness, you've already lost 8 matches in a row. I think it's better for you to leave the arena. Bullshit. Wuka roared. With a stomp of his foot, he appeared several dozen meters in front of the silver-scaled youth as if he had teleported. 2 short axes appeared in his hands out of thin air, and he swung one of them at the silver-scaled youth. Umph. The silver-scaled youth instantly flickered, leaving behind hundreds of phantoms. With a boom, the silver-scaled youth directly grabbed one of Wuka's arms and swung it, ruthlessly smashing Wuka's entire body into the ground. Scram. The short axe in Wuka's other hand directly chopped off his own arm that had been grabbed. Following which, the axe chopped horizontally towards the silver-scaled youth, causing the youth's expression to drastically change. At the same time, he leapt backwards at lightning speed to dodge, but the axe still left a wound on his chest from which fresh blood flowed out. Ha 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 ha. Wuka stood there, his left hand grabbing the axe. His right arm was broken and fresh blood flowed, yet he laughed loudly, raising the axe with his left hand and pointing at the youth. Moe Lin, you idiot, didn't you say arrogantly that I couldn't even hurt you, ha? The youth grit his teeth and stared at Wuka. You madman. Haha, madman, our absolute beginning 3 heroes Luo Feng is the madman. I still can't be considered one. Wuka laughed loudly, after which he turned to look at the group below the arena, pointing below. All of you listen up, the 8 of us are newbies. Don't you just train a few thousand years more than us? What's there to be proud about? All of you are still so proud, saying that I, Wuka, can't even hurt a single one of you? I've only passed the 5th level, you've all passed the 6th, don't look down on us newbies. Wuka said and immediately jumped off the arena. There was a group of people standing at the side of the arena, 8 of them were gathered together. The leader was a man dressed in a silver-gray long robe. That cold voice said, Wuka, you're indeed from the Manka planet, fierce enough. However, you must know that newbies are newbies. In this qualification battle, the 8 of you will have to go to the Sky and Land region. There are a few tens of people who have reached the 6th level in the region. This group of universe-level geniuses all received the mail. They all received the mail? Who sent it? Let's take a look. The group of universe-level geniuses from the absolute beginning region all opened the mail to read. What, the 7th level? Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng of the 8 newbies? A few of the geniuses couldn't help but exclaim, the 6th to 7th level was simply too difficult. Even amongst these geniuses who had trained for thousands of years, only 5 of them had reached the 7th level. The rest were all at the 6th level. Wooka, who was preparing to leave, heard this and immediately opened the mail. Looking at the contents, he immediately stared wide-eyed in joy, following which he pointed at the group of seniors and laughed loudly. "You bunch of idiots, see? What's a genius, what's a true genius? So what if we're newbies? We've only trained for about 100 years, so what? But we can pass the 7th level of the Sky Crossing Bridge. So what? Haha, remember this name, LuoFeng. It's one of the 3 absolute beginning heroes, LuoFeng." Wooka laughed loudly. The group of seniors were all silent. The silver-gray long-robed man squinted, glancing at the distant blood-dyed axe-wielding Wooka who was leaving. "To be able to pass the 7th level, I'll have to take a good look. This time when I attempt the Primal Region. This LuoFeng is already a threat." The Glory Region, controlled by the Universe Mercenary Alliance, was similar to the Virtual Universe Company's Primal Region and Absolute Beginning Region etc. that had been excavated and modified. Within the Glory Region, there was a desolate huge planet. It was called the Prison Battlefield. A man whose eyes gleamed with a fierce green light, his skinny face was covered in thick yellow fur, his entire being was like a wild wolf as he laid on a rock and looked into the distance. Suddenly he frowned, his brown eyes gleaming with a green light. "LuoFeng? This batch of newbies sure are powerful. However, this Primal Region slot is mine.